What's up, you guys? My name is Sarah. I'm a weight loss and nutrition coach. I help people who feel stuck with dieting use clear, practical tools to lose weight without burnout. When I was in the midst of my own struggle with weight loss, I went through a Tony Robbins phase, don't we all? And I was listening to his program on weight loss, and he said something that absolutely blew me away. He said, "You don't have a weight problem, you have a weight solution." At the time, that was completely mind-blowing because I'd been telling myself the same thing for years and years. I've got this problem with weight. I just want to deal with it. It's so frustrating. I don't know what to do. And I felt like I was hitting my head against a brick wall. Now, that comment might sound confusing. I had this problem that I had looked at as a problem for basically as long as I could remember. But as I started to tease through what he was saying, it really starts to make sense. When you think about it, everything that we do because some part of us wants to do it. Or there's something positive that we get out of it, even if it seems like the most negative thing, right? So let's say that you wake up late for work several days in a row. Now their boss has started to notice, they're getting frustrated with you, and you're worried your job might be on the line. That seems like a pretty negative thing, right? But the positive you get out of it is more sleep. Another example might be if you struggle with drinking too much at parties. So you get to the party, you start drinking too much. By the end of the night, maybe things don't go so well. Maybe the next morning you're feeling hungover and sick. Doesn't seem like a very positive situation. Why would you do it? One scenario might be that you struggle with social anxiety. So when you get to that party, there's all these people there and you are just starting to clam up because you feel uncomfortable. And having that drink in your hand, drinking and drinking and drinking, that might be the thing that helps you feel calm, relaxed. Suddenly talking to these people starts to feel fun. That's the positive. So when I first heard of this as a concept, that's something that I pretty much hate with the core of my being. I hated that I was struggling with this weight, that it might be doing something for me. That allowed me to slow down enough to look at the situation and really tease out what was going on. After I did that, here is what I figured out. Here is the solution my weight was offering me. What I discovered is it wasn't so much the weight itself was solving something for me, it was the behaviors that were causing the weight gain that were giving me something. And of course, I'm talking about food. The food I was eating, the way I was eating it, how much I was eating it, that allowed me to feel good when I was feeling overwhelmed by stress. I think the words Tony Robbins would use would be, it allowed me to change my state. So I'd come home from a long day, I'd feel completely numbed out, tired. So I didn't have the energy to go do anything fun or anything that might refill my cup, so to speak. A really easy answer to that is to sit on the couch with a bucket of popcorn and a beer, or to snack on chips, or to not take the time to cook myself a healthy, fulfilling meal and instead snack my way through the evening. So as far as coping mechanisms go, eating was relatively quick, relatively cheap, super easy, didn't have to think about it. But as I've already alluded to, the price of this, of course, was not just the extra weight. It's not just this physical negative thing that I'm struggling with. The price of it was also that it kept me numb. It kept me numb to the food I was eating, so I wasn't really aware of the fact that the food didn't actually make me feel good, that maybe a balanced dinner would have felt better. I would have felt better in my body after. But not only did it keep me numb to the actual behaviors I was doing, it also kept me numb to the scenario that would allow for me to be that tired and exhausted that I wouldn't want to go do something fun or healthy for myself. I wouldn't necessarily want to go connect with friends. I wouldn't want to go for a run, which is something that I normally enjoy doing. So this became this cycle where I was doing these unhealthy behaviors to cope, but those unhealthy behaviors were also keeping me locked into the situation that I needed coping from. And I've seen similar patterns to this in my own clients. Georgia, whose weight was primarily due to her drinking habit. I would say that Georgia suffered from being a working mom. So she was married, she and her husband both worked, she also had kids. And if you are in any scenario like that, or if you have kids, you know how consuming that can be. So she would make sure her family was up and ready for work and school. She'd get her kids to school. She'd go work all day, go pick up her kids, take them to various activities, come home. By the time she came home, she was pretty exhausted. Her way of coping was a glass or two of wine. Now, you've probably heard me say this before if you've watched any of my videos. Wine in and of itself is not necessarily a bad thing, but oftentimes wine comes with other things. So if you're socializing, wine can come with a lot of other things. If you're by yourself though, it might just come with snacking. And so that's what she would do. As she was trying to get food on the table for her family, she would drink her wine. That's a luxurious thing. I like to drink wine while I cook too. But then drinking wine while she cooked would also turn into snacking while she was cooking. And so before she knew it, she might be 2 glasses of wine in, and who knows how much she was snacking. It's very difficult to keep track when you're just eating as you go. And as a result, she had excess weight that she wanted to lose. Now, as we started working together, it also came out that ever since she started having kids, she'd slowly but surely let her hobbies go by the wayside. So there were very few things she had in her life that were just for her, just to nourish her and, again, refill her cup. And so there she has it. Wine became her weight solution. So going back to my own scenario, here's how I resolved my weight solution. What worked for me was putting boundaries on my eating. When I put boundaries on my eating in the form of calorie counting, that's when I was able to finally start seeing success. The weight started coming off. And as the weight started coming off, I became more aware of how my body felt and was affected by the foods that I was eating. And the more I became aware of my body and how it responded to the foods I was eating, the more I also became aware of how my body was responding to the context that I was living in, the job that I had that was not working for me, the job that I had to force myself to do and I had become completely burned out in. And as a result, making those changes around my food translated into me making more changes around my environment, around my work situation. And then what that ultimately turned into was not only did I lose the weight, but I also changed careers. And now I feel like an active participant in my life. I no longer feel like a person who's going through the motion and life is happening to me. Now I'm an active participant in my life. And when things don't work for me, when something needs change, I know I'm empowered to change it. And similarly with my client Georgia, as we started to put boundaries around her eating and her drinking, that's when she started to make changes in her body. And the more changes she made in her body, the more empowered she felt to make other changes in her life, like taking time for hobbies, making sure that her husband was helping her share the load a little bit more. Now, if you would like a resolution to your weight solution, then I hope you will join me on March 9th. I'm beginning a 4-week transformation program. In this program, I will teach you all the steps that I took to lose weight. So I will teach you how to calorie count. I will teach you how to do that without losing your mind. You'll get a portal with training videos, and I'll also make it fun and enjoyable to do. And best of all, this program is absolutely free. So I'm doing it for free because this is the first time I'm going to be releasing it, and I'm hoping that anybody who goes through it with me will also provide me feedback at the end. So it'll be a win-win. You get to learn how to make lasting change in your body, and I get feedback from my program so that I can tweak it, make it better, and get it into the hands of as many people as possible, because that is the mission I am on, is to spread lasting, sustainable weight loss to as many people that would like it. If you'd like to take part just click the link in the description, fill that information out, and I will see you there.